You are listening to episode 143.4. Ryan Robinson reacts to Notre Dame's 27-24 win over Penn State in the college football playoff semifinals at the Orange Bowl.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ryan Robinson, that was an all-time classic.
Man, what a game. That was, oh my Lord. Talk about a game of emotions. It was about all I could take watching that game, man. And I was I was so happy for Eric and Garrett and Brayton to be down there in that environment. They had a blast and we were texting nonstop, and it was just, man, what an epic win for Notre Dame. Epic win for that program. Epic win for Marcus Freeman. Let me just address him as Coach Freeman, unlike James Franklin failed to do about 400 times.
So now we're bitter toward Penn State?
Well, I just think Coach Franklin played some mind tricks in the press conference. He never addressed him as Coach Franklin. And then he asked him how old he was, what's his age. I think he tried getting in Coach Freeman's mind, and you could tell by his body language in that press conference he wasn't having it. So I think that just gave more fuel to him and his approach to that game. And I mean, it worked out. But Penn State, I tell you what, it was 2.5 quarters where I didn't think we could move the ball or even have a chance to win that game, and it just turned. And it turned when Angeli came in, and I don't know what the referee saw, but something with Riley Leonard. The referee saw something and made him leave the field and go into the tent for what they thought might be a concussion. So Angeli comes in, he goes 6 for 7, and they get points on the board. And that's the second game in a row they get points to end the half. They receive the ball and they get points to start the half. So it's just a huge momentum swing, and that just kind of catapulted the rest of the game. And I think Notre Dame finally got some confidence that they could score against the Penn State defense, and the rest is history. But it was a great game.
You're right. It was a game of emotions. At times it seemed like neither team wanted to win. It seemed like both quarterbacks wanted to lose. It was nuts.
Yeah, Riley Leonard, I think he forced a couple passes. The second interception, I understand what he was trying to do, but you can't make that play at your own end of the field like that. But um, it didn't hurt us a lot. But man, I'm just happy for a couple reasons. I love that we have reserves in there making big plays, and Christian Gray, he got picked on in that USC game, and kind of got exposed out there at the cornerback position. And he's a backup, but he ends up getting a pick six towards the end of that game. And last night he had an interception in the first half, but they called him for holding at the line, which I mean, I get that call. Looking at the replay, you probably do throw that flag, but he had that interception.
We
And
might
then he
talk about another call coming up, Ryan.
well, and then he gets the big interception there with 4 minutes to go
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter. And I wasn't sure what Penn State's approach would be there with 4 minutes to go that deep in their own territory. But yeah, they made a throw towards midfield, and Christian Gray just made a huge play. And talking about guys making big plays, Mitch Jeter might be our MVP at this point so far.
Yes, sir. How about that,
He
Mitch Jeter?
he we get him from the transfer portal out of South Carolina, where he was great at South Carolina, but he only kicked 50% for us this year. But they said he wasn't healthy until the end of the year, and there's probably some weight in that because he's
Sure.
been lights out. He's been lights out so far, and on that stage coming in and hitting that field goal, I screamed so loud. I don't know. I love it. This feels like a team of destiny to me.
Deep in your mind, I want you to be honest with me here, Ryan. What percentage of the game were you watching thinking, "Oh, we're gonna win," and what percentage were you thinking, "I can't believe we're gonna lose this game"?
15% we're gonna win. 85% we have no chance. I even texted Eric that at halftime. I said we have no chance. We were just we couldn't move the ball, and then you look at the final stat line, and Leonard goes off for 223 yards passing, gets a
Yeah,
uh, throws a touchdown. Jaden
did
Greathouse,
a lot
man,
of
what a
good
game!
things. Yeah,
Yeah, Jaden Greathouse, he was phenomenal. He had over 100 yards receiving, made big plays, big catches, and it was you think that Penn State that defender slips and we throw that touchdown pass. I think that tied it up at 24. But if
yeah.
that kid doesn't slip, I mean, it's a totally different game. But those are the things that happen during games, and luckily it was in our favor.
What percentage of the credit does Freeman get for this for the win? Because that was definitely a coaching win.
Well, he's going to tell you it's all about the players,
Of
but
course he is,
as a as a fan, it's all about Marcus Freeman and me. He has those kids ready to play. I'm going to give him 80%, the players 20%,
and they made
because
adjustments. They
they
definitely made adjustments.
he always does. The second half is always a different scenario, a different approach, a different look. And I mean, this guy, I don't know how we're going to be able to keep him at Notre Dame. His stock is just rising at a rapid rate, and I hope we're able to hang on to him. And I
Because you're
I
Notre
think
Dame.
I think he loves being at Notre Dame. I hope he does.
I
And
sure hope so.
but Ryan Day's on the hot seat 24/7, and Marcus Freeman's an Ohio State alum, and he played football there. And I just see one day Ohio State's going to come with a blank check, and I hope he says no.
Any quarterback controversy going into the championship game?
No, but having a backup like Angeli, and we said it in the first couple of weeks when Riley Leonard was trying to find his rhythm with that offense. Eric and I both were saying, "Hey, we got a backup that's highly capable of leading this team." So to
Well,
have someone like
and
have someone
after the last game and then the first quarter and a half of this game, I was starting to wonder if we were going to see Angeli, and then he comes in and does that, and I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know."
yeah, yeah, that was
But
clutch
but of
minutes for
course,
him.
Riley Leonard was fantastic
He
down
was
the stretch.
fantastic in the second half. But kudos to Angeli. It's great to have a guy like that on your bench that you can go to. And I thought, in hindsight, that was probably a big break for Notre Dame, because obviously Penn State wasn't they weren't watching film on that kid. and,
Yeah.
and he came in and he just marched them down the field, and they get some points to end the half. So he did everything he should have done and was called upon to do. So big minutes from Angeli.
All right, Ryan. Big question. Do you want Ohio State or do you want Texas?
I want Texas.
I figured.
I do. I want Texas, man. And the game against Ohio State, when things look so obvious on paper, that's kind of a trap to me. And I think the spread's at 6 points, and everyone was like, "This is going to be a blowout." But anytime, whenever I think that, and I look back to all the times I think something's going to happen, it you get surprised. So I will not be surprised if Texas pulls off an upset tonight.
Neither will
And
I, Ryan.
that's do you hear what I'm saying though? Do you
Yes.
agree with me?
Yes, I do.
When things are so obvious, that's when you should be concerned.
Yeah, and the other thing is the advantage in quarterbacks, and that's so important, is on Texas's side. And you should never be a 6 point underdog when you have a considerably better quarterback.
I know. I think that game's going to be really, really interesting. It's
Now,
going to be
yeah,
entertaining. I'm going to be watching. I'll watch every snap, and I like our matchup against Texas way better than I do against Ohio State. Our history with Ohio State's not good. They beat us every time we play them, and that explosive offense. I know our defense is fantastic, but that Ohio State offense, when it's rolling, there ain't a defense going to stop them.
and Ohio State in its last 3 games has lost as many games as Notre Dame lost all year. So thank you so much to Ryan Robinson for spending some time talking some football and having a few laughs. If you like what you hear, and we got a lot of new things coming really soon, a lot of different sports around Central Indiana, and we're getting really excited about the future of the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm assuming you're dumb. I don't know. Anyway, if you're liking what you hear, please like, subscribe, or follow. You know what to do. Please just go do it. And it would be very helpful to us if you would tell a friend. There's never, ever, 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 ever been a podcast like the Central Indiana Sports Report. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.